Welcome to the next installment of my lecture series here at Rutgers University in Camden. And in this particular video lecture, I'm going to be going over indifference curves and budget constraints, in particular illustrating the income and substitution effects. So here we have two different commodities that this particular individual can consume, beer and pizza. And we're given the information on income, which is $12, the price of beer, which is $3, and the price of pizza, which is equal to $2. So this person has $12 with which to spend. Beer is going to cost $3 each, and a slice of pizza is going to cost $2 a piece. So given this information, we can construct a budget constraint. So if this individual is going to spend all of their income on beer, they would be able to consume 4 beers. So we just take the income and divide by the price of beer, and that gives us the maximum amount of beer that can be purchased, given the fact that we're going to be purchasing nothing but beer. And we can do the same thing for pizza. We can take the income and divide by the price of pizza. 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. So if that individual was going to buy nothing but pizza and consume no beer, they can consume 6 pizzas. And if we connect those 2 points together, that gives us our budget constraint. So everything on the budget constraint is affordable if the individual spends all their money. Anything inside the budget constraint is affordable, but it entails some savings, i.e. not spending all their income. And anything to the right of the budget constraint in this region here is unaffordable. As you remember, utility maximization occurs with the indifference curve that is just tangent to the budget constraint. And for this example here, we have indifference curve 0, budget constraint 0, and where they are just touching one another is the utility maximizing level consumption of beer and pizza, which happens to be 3 slices of pizza and 2 beers. Now, if we were to change things, if we keep the income the same, but we were to lower the price of beer to $1.50, and the price of pizza remains the same at $2. So the only thing we're changing is the price of beer. We are going to have a new budget constraint showing the changing price of beer. And realize because income and the price of pizza are remaining unchanged, that this point is going to remain unchanged. So part of our new budget constraint is going to include 6 pizzas and no beers. And if we take the income of 12 and divide by 150, that's going to give us 8 beers. And that is our new budget constraint right there. So we're going to have a new utility maximizing combination of beer and pizza, and that again is going to occur when the indifference curve that is just tangent to that new budget constraint, which is given by 3 pizzas and 4 beers is the utility maximizing combination under that new price of beer equal to $1.50. Now, given this is the price effect. This is the change in consumption due to the fact that the price of beer has changed. Realize that there are 2 factors coming into play here. There's an income and a substitution effect that make up the price effect. So what we are interested in is we want to disentangle this. We want to have an understanding of how much of this increase in the consumption of beer from 2 to 4 is due to the fact that beer is cheaper than pizza because the price of beer has fallen from 3 to 2, but also due to the fact there's an income impact on this as well. So in order to accomplish this, we're going to have a shifting inward of the budget constraint, of budget constraint 1, and it's going to shift inward, a parallel shifting, until it's just tangent to the original indifference curve. And realize what this is doing. Remember previously we talked about how, for example, an increase in income causes the entire budget constraint to shift outward. It would make sense then that if we are trying to take into account the impact of income, we want to subtract out the income effect, that we would parallel shift the budget constraint inward. And the reason why we're going back to the original indifference curve is because now we are holding utility constant at the original level of utility. And by shifting that budget constraint inward, we're now taking a look at the new ratio of prices after the price decrease in the price of beer. So if we take a look at that, that is the utility maximizing combination, and that gives us the amount of pizza and the amount of beer that would be consumed. So this gives us the income and the substitution effects. For the substitution effect, we see that there's a decrease in the consumption of pizza from 3 down to, let's say, 1.5, and this is causing an increase in beer consumption from 2 to, let's say, 3.3. So this illustrates the substitution effect. This is what's happening, that as the price of beer decreases, we're going to see a decrease in the price, in the consumption of pizza, because people are going to substitute away from pizza and switch to beer, because now beer is relatively less expensive compared to pizza under the previous price combinations that we talked about. So this gives us the level that's due to the substitution effect, and now the remainder gives us the amount for the income effect. So this increase from 3.3 to 4 relates to the income effect, because remember, we are shifting back the budget constraint, a parallel shifting, keeping the ratio of prices the same until we move back to that original indifference curve. So that difference right there is the income effect. And if we take a look at pizza, we can see that the substitution effect and the income effect cancel each other out for pizza.